And welcome back to the Resurrección series. From Ukha, we have the question of why is Darth Maul's Resurrección? Okay, so I believe his species is called the Zabrak, if I'm not mistaken. And, I mean, they have this demonic kind of devil look to them. The thing is, as far as I know, I initially thought when we first met Darth Maul in episode 1 that his face was just all tattooed. But no, this is actually what his species looks like. Because we also see it on his arms, on his chest. No, his entire species looks this way. This almost demonic horned race of individuals. Maul himself, though, is exceptional among his people. Like, he's not the most powerful Force user ever. He's not the most powerful Sith. But he is strong. He's actually very capable. And the truth is, he's probably not as strong as he could be because half his body's mechanical. So actually, the Vader syndrome. Vader, as powerful as Vader is, and Vader is one of the most powerful Sith who ever lived, isn't as strong as he could be because he is partly mechanical. The Force doesn't travel well through non-living tissue, which is why he can't really use Force lightning because he'd end up destroying his circuits. Maul, I think, probably suffers from a similar problem. Mind you, it's only his lower half that's gone, so he is at least able to use like the Force. The Force pushes far easier. He just can't augment himself through the Force as well, and he's probably weaker than what he could be. But the question is, how do I convert like Force using, his lightsaber skills, all that into a resurrection, into a hollow? Well, let's get that out of the way right now. He probably still has a standard katana. I could still see that as his Zanpakuto. Although you could make an argument that his Zanpakuto is a dual-bladed katana. It's just his double-bladed lightsaber as a katana, which I believe does exist. It's not very practical as a weapon, but it does exist. But what about everything else? Well, I think you have to, in his case, similar to how Zamari has that mohawk, you have to make his hollow mask his horns. I think that's a luck. In terms of, though, what his original hollow form looked like, I think you can make something that looks kind of like a devilish Oni, kind of. Not quite Oni, but definitely something devilish. Do I think he was a Vasa Lorde, though? I mean, in terms of how you were to convert a hollow to him, I would say you could go Vasa Lorde, but I don't think like his ability would overall be that powerful. Also, I think a fun thing here would very much be the fact that when he gained his Arrancar form, it's not that he doesn't have legs. His legs are just very frail. He actually probably walks around using his Zanpakuto as a cane more than anything else to walk around. He can barely move. But ironically, like, he can stand up and all that, but he can barely walk. And I think that leans itself really towards his resurrection, which in this case is Vengaza, or revenge. Or take it, Vengaza. And so when he releases his resurrection, releases his Zanpakuto, when, regains his hollow form, one of the big components of the resurrection is his legs reform completely. And it's revealed that he might be, if you were whatever Espada group he's a part of, he would be like among the actual fastest in his resurrection of the Espada. Like, kind of like how Zamari's allegedly the fastest Sonido user or best Sonido user, but only in base. He would be the fastest Arrancar in Espada in Resurrection. Beyond that, though, I could see also like strips of, it almost looks like spiky armor along his body, and his horns become more prominent. So apart from his just sheer speed, he's got the Cetero, all that. I don't see him using like anything like really Force related, save for the fact that you could argue maybe he can convert the Force or a Cetero into something like Force lightning. Like, maybe you can argue that lightning does crackle over his larger horns, and he just moves his arm and it just travels from his head to a Cetero, and he makes an electrified Cetero, or he can kind of use a Force lightning effect. That I could take or leave, just because Maul never actually used Force Lightning in the series, to the best of my knowledge. It was on an ability he never mastered. But I think that works well for him, because ultimately Maul, when you take out the double blade lightsaber and take out some of the Force abilities he used, he's really just he's a physical fighter. He wasn't trained as a Sith Lord. He was trained as a Sith assassin, which means he was trained to fight. He even knows I believe it's Terakasi, which is a Force a fighting style designed specifically against Force users and Jedi. So I think that actually works very well in favor with his fighting style, with who he is, and with the notion of Darth Maul in general. I think that works well, but I mean, I could be convinced that maybe it's not the best version of what you could do with him. Still though, I think it's an effective way to utilize him, at least for this version of the character. But again, what do you think of this idea? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.